What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit and I am back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color playing his set. His name is IamJoe. On the other side of the map in the blue color playing as HellsRavage, playing as Oranos, is HellsRavage. The map is Tundra and this is a best of 3 series in the Voobly balance patch 3.0 tournament hosted by Deity Shelty and RTS Sanctuary. To start off with, I've been very sick the past couple of weeks, so that's why there's been no videos. I tried to do some casts, and unfortunately, I had to do too much editing for it to even make it onto YouTube, and it was just going to be too time consuming from me just like coughing all the time. But we back now, we healthy, and we ready to go. I'm gonna try and get the rest of these tournament games out of the way. And we're going to start seeing a lot more other stuff. I've also, in really exciting news, have finally gotten internet which can stream with. So I'm going to start doing some more streams, maybe start a schedule or something and get a couple of streams happening a week, and we'll see what happens there and if people enjoy it and want to see more of me doing that kind of thing, who knows? Anyways, we've got a game going on here. We've got HellsRavage here. He's chucked down his economic guild, and he's going to be going for the 2 Aurochs, 2 Aurochs, 1 wood. Sorry, I can't even speak. 2 villagers on the Auroch, 1 villager on the wood, 1 villager on the gold. Chuck that mana down when he hits 25 gold, and then he's going to be going for maybe 3 more villagers on food, get a temple as soon as he can, and advance through Prometheus, it looks like. He may be deciding to go for a super fast town center, but against Set, it generally doesn't work because Set can just advance it 4 minutes and then shifting sands onto your town center before it's up. That's how fast Set can attack you, and unfortunately you can't defend against that kind of thing as Oranos without units, so it does make sense to go straight to the classical age 430 advanced time through Prometheus. Joe, on the other hand, he's very good, and he's been pioneering a lot of these early build orders, changing things up, making these builds that allow him to advance super fast without sacrificing any villager production time. It clearly sacrifices economy because you can't afford to get pickaxe or husbandry until a little bit later in the game. However, you advance so fast and you can start putting on incredible amounts of pressure with Set, grabbing second town centers so your villagers keep pumping out. And it does seem as though it is the best way to play the game, simply because if you think about how the stats work in Pickaxe costs 50 food and 120 wood, and you need to have essentially 10 villagers mining from gold before it starts becoming faster than if you were to have an extra villager on there, because you get 10% bonus, 10% faster gather rate. And then if you think about how that works, 10%, 10 villagers is equal to pickaxe is 1 extra villager on that resource. So he delays the upgrades in favor of getting extra villagers. He's going to go for a very fast second town center, as you can see, transferring all these villagers over onto gold, going through tar, very, very fast. HellsRavage, on the other hand, going through Prometheus a little bit later than Joe, and he's also got 3 villagers on the wood instead of the 2 villagers we've been seeing recently, and only 2 villagers on food, which means we're probably going to be seeing mass Terma instead of the instead of like Murmillo and Terma, or 2 barracks, instead like 1 barracks, 1 counter barracks. Instead of, this is probably looking like 2 counter barracks, I think. We'll see what happens there. He's getting hand axe, and pickaxe will be coming through shortly, unless he's already got it. No, pickaxe should be coming through shortly. Here we go. Now we're going to jump over to Joe's perspective, just about to advance to that next stage. He's got his units ready here. He can shift onto here and he can shift onto here, but it does look like this is potentially not going to be something that you want to be doing here. There's the base layout of HellsRavage is really, really quite good, and he's decided to fake it. Well, not fake it. Cast vision to check out what's going on, and he decided not to go through with the attack. We are seeing the double counter barracks are coming through for HellsRavage, and Joe's going to be grabbing this second town center very, very fast. And he's also already got 7 villages on food, coming into 8 villages on food, which is how many you need to be producing villages consistently from 2 town centers. 4 villages on food per town center is your general amount of villages you need to consistently produce those villages. So if you want to be producing spearmen as well, then you can add on an extra 4 villages. Is generally if you're spending 50 food on something. You need 4 villages for it. So if you've got 20 gold for the spearmen as well, you're going to need a little bit more gold. But that doesn't quite work because spearmen do train faster than the villagers. So maybe it's a little bit more you need for the spearmen to be spamming. We are seeing Promethean offspring coming in now, going to be harassing Joe's villager here, and actually this is kind of nice here, managing to shut down this location here. We are seeing the villager is trying to jab away at these Promethean offspring, and he's just going to be hanging out underneath this watchtower without taking too much damage, which I really do like. The speed of these units is 550, so you can come in and you can get quite a bit. And is he going to get, oh, he was like 1 hit away from that one there. We are seeing some walls coming up now for Joe as well. Town center is up already, so Hells needs to make a decision now. Does he cut counter barracks units and then go for this town center, which it does look like he's potentially going for it, but he looks like he's going for the Orok actually. Or does he try and put a crazy amount of pressure on straight away? I do prefer to see the pressure than the early second town center, because you don't want to be chasing your opponents in town centers, especially not an Egyptian player. You want to be putting the pressure on. Grab that second town center later and you're going to be totally fine. We get off a hyenas there, a little bit of a win there, and basically HellsRavage's economy can start catching up just simply by playing standard. Joe's sacrificed his economy by grabbing this early town center, so he does have to sit on it a while for it to pay for itself. And all of that other shenanigans. And so long as HellsRavage can just put that pressure on and try and cause some havoc in the base of Joe, it's gonna be totally worth it. And he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be able to grab one of these villages. Maybe worth to just shockwave these guys so you could send them back over here. We are seeing barracks are coming through for Joe, but Joe can't really do that much at this point. He's only got, well, he does have 7 villages on wood, so he can start spamming these spearmen here, but he's sitting at quite a large amount of food and gold, which means his economy is starting to get very, very strong, but he does need to start producing some more of these military buildings in order to keep up with this spam. We are seeing that second town center is coming down now for Hells. So I think in actuality it would have been smarter for him to produce maybe like 4 or 5 of these Terma, then grab both of these town centers like he's doing, and then just start spamming more Terma. Because then I think you need 2 citizens on food for each town center to produce. So you need 6 citizens on food in order to produce from 3 town centers consistently. But that's fine, because then you can just put everything else onto wood and gold and produce mass Terma, which while it doesn't really counter what Joe's doing, it does very well, because Joe also counters what Hells is doing. So you just have to micro well, and also with Shockwave you can get away with a lot here. But it does look like the slingers are coming in and forcing these medium Terma to run around. They can just run around without taking too much damage here. These slingers can't really hit them as they're moving too fast, and he's going to be fine there. And we've got the first town center is up, and we do see that 4 villages are on food. Is he going to put the extra couple of villages there or not? He's got a couple more villages on this gold mine here. We are seeing Shockwave is going down, and it does look like Hells is trying to fight this. I don't think this is a great idea. He's trying to pick off the Wadget here and distract these slingers, and it does look like he's going to be able to get some shots off over there, but the Wadget's just going to run away. And while it's great to be killing this myth unit, I feel like it doesn't really do all too much, and you're just going to pick it off when you can rather than focusing on it. Anyways, it is looking like Hells is going to try and run in here, pick off this Wadget, and then he should just get out of there at this point. It looks like Joe's got enough units to deal with what Hells has got at this point, and now Hells just needs to chill out, sit on this boom that he's going for with these 3 town centers, and then potentially go for some sort of fast Titan or go for some sort of destroyer palace spam in order to push through Joe maybe a little bit earlier. There's a couple of different options, but it does seem like on Voobly Balance Patch 3.0 Titan, I don't see many people going for that Titan because it's a little bit late. Normally, I think it's maybe an extra like 15 seconds or something on the train time, of the actual Titan age. which does make people not want to go through it because it's a little bit too long. That being said, Oranos has always been a strong god, and 15 seconds of delay in order to get there is not going to be the worst. Some less than ideal micro here from HellsRavage. What you need to do with these units is you need to grab 4 and then click on a Terma and then grab another 4, click on a different, grab 4 Terma, click on a Slinger, and then do that for all of your Terma, and then you can pick off so many slingers in one volley. It's actually ridiculous. But Hell's not doing that one just yet, and also does not have this town center auto queuing villages just yet. Need to get on top of that one and utilize that advantage. And there we go. That town center is now queuing those guys. As we see Terma running through here, not phased by the medium slinger at all. And we are seeing, does he have medium upgrades? He does have the medium Terma, and he does have some Murmillo coming into the fray right now, so he should be able to be okay in this fight here. These Murmillo do a lot of damage to these guys. A nice micro there from Hells, but Joe is doing some very strong focus fire here. But at this point, it does look like HellsRavage's army is way too much for Joe, and Joe's gonna have to get back here. And we are seeing that this town center has been grabbed now for Joe, and he's going to be in a fairly decent situation as well, having that third town center. However, there's just so many units coming in here, and he's going to be losing quite a few villages, and Joe's going to be hurting. And we are seeing shifting sands to save these guys back into the base, and that's going to pick off a couple of these units, but it does look like they could potentially get out of here. We are going to want to see these Terma focus fire all of those slingers and then pick off the Pharaoh as well. But it does look like nice micro there from from Joe, and now HellsRavage is going to be moving in onto this gold mine, and it's going to be a difficult one to be defended against here, as Hells is spamming units pretty quickly, and he could even start producing some of those Prometheans as well. He's sitting on 87 favor. He's going to be moving in here, trying to pick off some of these laborers, and we do have the medium slinger coming on over here as well, but those guys get picked off so fast from the slingers. You just have to focus fire them down. We are picking off a bunch of these other villages here, as more of these villages getting pulled off the gold mine, as Joe is trying to hang on here, and this is absolutely brutal for Joe here. HellsRavage is doing a really, really good job, but he needs to get some of those Murmillo in here, because they can really take down these villages. And we are finally seeing Joe saying, you know what, you can have this gold mine, I need to move somewhere else. Potentially Joe could pick up this gold mine at this point, move back onto his home gold mine for just a little bit longer. He still has 600 gold left in it, but he does need to get out some more units in order to hang on here. Joe's sitting at, he's got 1500 gold in the bank. You don't even need gold at this point, just go to the next age potentially. Does he have an armory? He's got an armory, so he could just go to that next age. However, Hells is sitting at 118 population to Joe's 80 population. So it's super far ahead at this point in terms of that population. We have to see if he can do anything with it. And he is looking like he's moving forward into here and going to try and pick up some villages in this location here. More villages are just like all over the map. So we could think about coming in over onto this point here, but villagers farming are hard to pick off here, and we are seeing all of these Terma going to be focusing down villages at this point with the Murmillo as well. We do have a watchtower here these guys can retreat into, but Joe's reaction times being a little bit slow here. A bunch of these villages are going to be falling down, and they are going to be retreating back into the town center, but it's going to be a little bit too late right there, as so many villages get picked off there for HellsRavage. So he's feeling really good about his situation at this point. Checking out the economic upgrades, we do see hand axe and pickaxe for Hells, and does need to invest in those extra ones. And the same for Joe. Joe needs to think about getting some more if he can hold on to at this point. Potentially even start producing some of those priests in order to deal with this Terma army. Terma really don't do well against priests because they don't do a lot of damage against them. We are seeing Prometheans running in over here at this point, finally building some of those guys. And we are seeing that the wall is up now for Joe. So these units could potentially all die if he doesn't get out of here. There is a slight gap in this situation here maybe, but maybe not. It does look like these Terma are going to be taking some damage here because the Murmillo are slowing them down. Definitely don't want to be doing that much. I can't speak. Definitely don't want to be running these Murmillo around with the Terma when slingers are attacking them. You want to get that full speed from the Terma, speed of 5.5 versus the Murmillo speed of 4.95. We are going to be seeing potentially Hells throwing away these units by running through the base of Joe. Don't really want to see that one. Just because you're Oranos doesn't mean you can throw away units. And it seems like after all of that damage that Hells has done, it looks like Joe's kind of sitting in a decent enough situation. Though we are seeing Hyperion is coming through, and then Hyperion means at this time of the game with 3 town centers from that boom, that does mean that Mythic Age is going to be following up very, very soon after. You can see he's already got the 1,000 food, 1,000 wood 1,000 gold as he's sitting in the heroic age. There we go. Market's coming down with 4 villages, so he wants to get to that heroic age super fast, and then he can chuck the Titan gate down in the base of Joe while he starts sieging down somewhere else. Chuck palaces forward and do a bunch of other stuff. We're seeing Helios though. Not, there we go, that's right. Hecate thought about Helios there, but definitely not the right god of choice here. When you go this fast without that many upgrades on your units, you really want to go through Hecate. And we are seeing a nice pick off there of that Pharaoh going to be falling to the medium termer. And now also we can start seeing some of those Contarias coming out. So it's got a Satyr here he needs to deal with. Can that guy, oh, he's stuck. He's stuck. That's a sad satyr there, right? So he's gonna have to get out of there at some point. Potentially could delete the temple after Hecate's researched. We'll see what he does choose to do. We are seeing palaces coming up now. And Hells is playing this game very methodically, slow and methodically, and this is what we want to see. Trying to move in, do a little bit of damage over here. We do see that Nephthys has come through. That one can be countered really hard with, what is this, Chaos. And can actually... Chaos actually converts 1 myth unit guaranteed, and then also a bunch of these other units, and it's definitely worth it to be used while they're sitting here. We are seeing palaces up, and we're going to see some destroyers coming as well. Hell's trying to get a little bit antsy over here with this palace here without any units over here. I'm probably not going to be able to get that one up, especially with all of these slingers here, and it does look like Hell's could potentially just rotate over onto this location here, and he should be okay. We are seeing medium destroyers are out though, and these guys are such tanks, 69% pierce armor. They're going to be able to hang on for a long time. We are seeing potentially going to send the destroyer in here. We do have the medium termer in here as well, so we're going to chuck down that mythic age straight into Joe. And Joe's going through Horus though, so he's also taking very fast. Is he going to chuck it down in this location here? What's he looking for? What is he looking for? Could chuck it on over here, block the market. Okay, yeah, block the gold mines, which is fairly good. We are seeing ancestors get cast though. Villagers can just come off the line and attack the Tartarian gate, which is this is something you want to be considerate of when casting Tartarian gate, is how close are his villages, right? So if you chuck the Tartarian gate over here, you can attack this location here. He has to get all these villages. I guess it's exactly the same. There's no watch towers or anything around this location, so these Tartarian spawns are going to do a lot of damage, and we are going to see more of these medium destroyers are going to be coming out at this point, and we have seen every single god power so far for Joe has been cast, but Horus is coming through. Is Hells going? Hells is going through that Secret of the Titans. I like this a lot, but Horus is a very strong counter when you don't have access to Hesperids trees. Because you can simply just use the tornado to destroy the Titan gate. And we are going to be seeing Joe hitting Horus at the same time as Hells is going to be hitting the Titan Age, and that's going to really hurt him because he's not going to want to cast the Titan gate at all. If we check out Hells, he's getting really close. We're going to see that the Chaos has been finally used, and those slingers are going to do a lot of damage here, even though they're Chaos and they don't have any upgrades. But also all of that damage from the Scorpion Man here, all that poison damage is gonna hurt as well. But Horus is through. We got Avengers coming out now. Still have access to another one of these Valors, and we do have the Titan Gate gonna go down now. And I feel like you should try and chuck this up as far away from the town center as you possibly can, because if you cast Tornado here, as we see the Avenger running through, which is going to be what's going to happen, the Tornado can pick off the Titan Gate, and then maybe it might run over onto this fortified town center. So we'll see what happens here. Is this Tornado going to be too much for this location here? It is going to be chucking it up, and it does pick it off instantly. So it's kind of a trade, which is okay, as Hells is pushing forward here. But having no Titan is, when you're specifically going for that strategy, it's kind of like Joe traded his he basically just traded 800 food, 800 gold, 800 wood, and 50 favor for Tornado, which sometimes that's worth it, right? But maybe not in this game, where maybe it would have been better to go through Hesperid, through what's it called? Yeah, Hesperids? No. Thea. Go through Thea, put your Hesperids trees down, and then you can put one tree down, you cast the Titan Gate next to it, and then you put the third tree or the second tree next to it, and then the God Power protection is enough for the Tornado to not attack it. Something you have to be very concerned about when you're playing against Egyptian players, because they have access to Meteor, they have access to Tornado, and it's generally really difficult to get that Titan Gate up against them. But we are seeing the Avengers running around now, is causing absolute havoc in the base of, or on the villager line here of HellsRavage. But we've got the Fire Siphons coming out now, and now the Fire Siphons are out, we can start moving forward. We've got 3 Fire Siphons. You don't want to lose any of these guys, and we can start running into this location here. Joe's sitting at 300 gold, so we can't really get that Merc spam happening. And we do see that the Avenger has been chaosed here, so he's now a Gaia Avenger, but a Gaia Avenger attacking a citizen, not something you want to see here. Hell's going to be losing a villager there. That's going to be a sad day for him, but he does need to think about pushing forward. He's got the economic advantage at this point, so attacking when you're ahead, always a good idea. Always a good idea. However, the Avenger is going to be coming through. The Satyr finally has decided to come out, and now we're going to have a little bit of a duel here. Will the Avenger plus Watchtower Fire win, or would the Satire and Watchtower win? Looks like Satire comes out with that victory there. Fire Siphons running in onto this location here. It does not look like this is going all too good for Hells. Potentially he's got too much economy at this point. Or where's his units? He's got some units over here attacking. Sometimes it's okay to do these side attacks, but other times it's like potentially better to just concentrate your fire and take out a location. When you got the advantage, I do prefer to concentrate my attacks. When I've got the disadvantage, I prefer to attack multiple locations and try and catch my opponent in bad situations. But we're seeing Watchtowers going up here. Siege Tower is going to be pushing through, and it does look like with Hells attacking over here and over here with this Fire Siphon, this location is going to be really difficult to defend against, especially only with these Arcus. Definitely to get the Arcus to be focusing down these medium slingers as well. You don't want the Arcus to be attacking the Siege Tower there. And it does look like Hells is on top of that, at least relatively well. You can grab these Arcus and then shift click, but you do run into a couple of issues if you do that sometimes, depending on what happens. But we are seeing that these Heavy Murmillo and Heavy Fanatics are coming in here, try and harass this location. We've already got some Axemen out, already got some Chariot Archers, and not over committing to it as well. We are seeing the Fire Siphon move into the base of Joe, picking off so many buildings here. What is this relic? Bow of Artemis has been taken as well, which is huge, because that one is meaning that Joe's going to have to spend more resources than he was producing these Chariot Archers and the Slingers. But finally, we're seeing some reaction here from Joe, moving these Laborers out. But Hells can just retreat these guys, send in a couple of these Archers, build up a palace even, and he's going to be in a fairly decent situation here. But Joe's hanging on fairly decently here. He's just trying to get what he's got going at this point and trying to stabilize. He's sitting at 110 population though. He's got so many resources in the bank, so it's like crazy. What is going on with Hells? He does need to get some more economic upgrades here in order to keep this spam up. But as soon as these houses go up, that's units replaced instantly for Joe, because he's got so many units in the bank and he's got quite a few production buildings. You can see all of these buildings here. And here, but he's not actually using them all. He's got some Chariot Archers coming out of here. Arcus attacking this location here. I'm not sure I like this. I much prefer to see the Arcus tag team with the Fire Siphon, so he can't just send villagers at them, because if he does that, that's always going to be painful. But we are moving in here. Joe is going to be taking a little bit of heat onto that Siege Tower, losing that guy there. Everything else is moving forward here. Now we're seeing the Arcus moving, but this gold mine is almost out, and then he has to move back onto this gold mine. It's only got 400 gold left in it, but we are going to be seeing Joe do that one preemptively while these Arcus move in, and then he's just going to be kind of wasting population over here. And Joe is finally sitting back at low amounts of gold here, and we're seeing more houses coming up, still producing these camel caravans, potentially having too many of those camel caravans. We'll see if that one works out for him. He can spam mercenary once you get them, which is always good, but essentially you're trading your population in units for mercenary, which is sometimes not good when you got this many camel caravans. But we'll see if that works out for him or not. We're seeing so many Satyr here. Just use it. Use your ability. Go. Yes. Yeah. See all those villagers die. That's what you want to see right there. So many dead villagers. Satire's special ability is so cool. It's kind of like the Nemean Lion with fire giants. It does splash damage, and if you get villagers balled up like that, absolutely brutal. And you can see that Joe's got 38 villagers on wood there. He's going to be moving them over onto this location here, but it's like at this point, Hells doesn't even care. He just wants to be picking off camel caravans, picking off everything else, get more fire siphons coming out, push forward, trying to take this game here. And he is putting on the pressure, so it is working for him. Definitely want to get a palace up here, maybe start producing some destroyers to pick off this Migdol stronghold or something like that. Get those side builds going. Hells isn't sitting at a very good resource count though. If for some reason he's got some idle villagers, going to get them ones back to work. And you definitely need to be full population in citizens as Atlantean, because your citizens don't gather that fast. I'm going to be moving this hero citizen forward, though. I'm going to be trying to pick off these catapults here as they're going to be retreating. He does manage to pick him off, but definitely need to get the citizen back there. She's going to be taking that damage, but maybe I would get out of there. She's got a lot of HP in that in armor, so he's going to be able to get out of there with her life, but gonna have some scars, that's for sure, because these heavy term are attacking the Migdol stronghold. Not something you want to see, but unfortunately got the attack coming in this way, and Hell is just going to be able to take down this barracks at this point. He's got the fire siphons pumping through. If we check out Joe's population, he's sitting at 120 of 160, and Hells is pulling away in the score. Picking off so many of these villages is so important. If you pick off these camel caravans here, how much gold are they getting? They're getting 55 gold a trip, so all you got to do is pick them off, sit in this location, and it's going to be brutal. That's no more gold for Joe. He's got no gold miners either. He's got some gold miners here and here, but all of these camel caravans are going to be feeling that painful death just by sitting in this location. Get all these units. You've got to be constantly checking your idle military banner and idle villager banner. We are seeing some more military barracks coming up here, and Hells is going to be feeling really good about this, chucking down watchtowers. Going to start moving forward with these bad boys, and they counter. Watchtowers are really good at countering mercenary, because you chuck them up, you get crenellations, and then the mercenary can just die to the watchtowers, and you're effectively trading no population for them. Now we are seeing some villagers move forward, going to try and pick off this gold mine or something like this, but Hells needs to be getting more gold at this point. He is going to be transferring onto there. He doesn't have Quarry yet. Quarry is the third tier upgrade for gold mine, which is why he's got no gold, and he's still built no market or no trade at this point, which is kind of good. I feel like he should be spamming these units here, but he can very easily run out of gold. We are seeing military barracks going up in this location as well. I'm just surprised that Joe has somehow managed to stay alive with sending these fire siphon over to pick off houses, but surely Hells knows that Joe can't, or he actually has managed to repopulate that army here. I was going to say surely Hells knows that Joe's struggling here, and he shouldn't be going for houses. He should be going for the trade route, but it does look like he's going to be having to move backwards here, as I don't know where all of Hells' army is at this point, but he's got some idle villages. He doesn't even have full population here. He does need to grab this upgrade here. Has he got it yet? He still hasn't got it. It's just so sad. He's got the resources for it. He's lacking in the resource he needs. Just need to do it. We are seeing Chaos does get cast yet again. Going to be doing even more damage to his opponent here. Got some more of these fire siphon coming in. Going to be trying to pick off the temple here. I'm still not sure as to why you want to be building these Terma at this point. They're not the best. It's better to just like take villages off wood and build Arcus and Murmillo and Fanatics instead of Terma, but we are still seeing more Terma getting built here. And it still could be a very good use of your resources to get that champion upgrades here. We don't have that many armory upgrades in just yet. We have a couple of armory upgrades for Joe here. He's managed to afford Axe of the Vengeance somehow, which does give his axemen huge buffs against buildings, which means if Joe can kind of stabilize from this situation, he can really push forward and deal so much damage. But Joe losing more and more houses at this point is always going to be in a difficult situation. He needs to build these houses at the back. build the houses at the back, and then the fire siphon can't pick them off. At this point, you're not using them to defend against your base getting attacked. You're using them to just maintain your population. But we are seeing these Satar move in yet again, trying to pick off all of these camel caravans. As you can see, he's moving these guys in, and it's going to be brutal. We see some more units running into this gold mine, but he should note there's 93 gold in here, and it's really not worth it to attack this location anymore, unless you want to be going for your market, your opponent's market. He's getting 65 gold a trip here, which is huge. And all of these satire are getting targeted by this one priest. He's dealing these damages. Does he have funeral rites? He doesn't have funeral rites just yet, so not doing that much damage to the satyr, so they're going to be doing okay. But Hells needs to think about how he's going to push through here. He could just get mass Arcus and just sit in this location here, pick off all the trade, and it's really difficult for the heavy chariots to deal anything. There are mercenary cavalry though, which Hells does need to deal with by grabbing out watchtowers or guard towers or something like that. But we are, here we go. Joe is going for this gold mine here. This is kind of a desperation play, but if you can grab it, that's huge. You've got some idle military here that just needs to run over this location. Does Hells have any idea what's going on? He doesn't even have line of sight of this gold mine here. Does he have signal flares? He doesn't have signal flares. If he had signal flares, he'd be able to see. Oh, the villagers are showing up there though, and it does look like Hells is not paying attention here, which means that Joe should be able to maintain this defense very, very easily with a mass mercenary, mass camel caravan, and this gold mine here. If we can check out, will we see these units ever move over there? It doesn't look like that's going to be happening just yet. Still, this Oracle Scout is so annoying. You could just move him forward one step, and then in like 15-20 seconds you see the gold mine there, but it's not going to be happening. We're finally seeing the market is coming up, and Hells has to say to himself, once you start producing trade as Atlantean, it's a bad thing, because yeah, you just can't keep up the population count to push forward. But we are seeing that maybe, has he finally gotten quarry? He does have quarry. He still needs to get flood control at some point in the near future. More watchtowers are coming up as well, and Hells' second watchtower is going to be able to protect these fire siphon here, and he just need to start producing these moving forward and seeing what he can do here. We've got this heavy chariot Hachi managed to pick off some villages over here. Definitely want to chuck up a wall here. You want to protect this market as best as you can. Got these villages on this gold mine, and they've managed to mine almost 2,000 gold here, as finally Hells is moving over here to try and stop this gold mining operation. Watchtower going up as well. But catapults are out, and that's going to be delaying this push even further for Hells as he's moving forward, trying to pick off these villages. Is going to pick off a couple of them, and Joe's like, I'm not sure Joe even wants to have these villages at this point. Like, he could just chuck more of these villages onto food and get more camel caravans, or even just send them over here and then use them as the fight in order to push forward or something like that. Kind of Ragnarok heroes or something. But he's going to be moving them over onto that gold mine here. But he's sitting at he's sitting at 160 population, so his economy is completely supporting what he's doing here. And I really do like his army composition here with the Axemen and the heavy chariot in order to deal with the destroyers and the Arcus of Hells. Hells just does not have a really good answer for this army composition. It would be pretty good if Hells could just transition into Contarius, and that would be enough to push through these guys here, but it's really hard to just transition into that when you got the economy layout that he's got, and he needs to put more villages onto food and less onto wood. He can just do that though, I guess. Definitely also needs to get flood control. That would be really good. But now we can see that Joe's finally stabilized. He's managed to hang on. And this is where these heavy axemen start becoming brutal when they've got that Axe of Vengeance. 200% axemen damage versus buildings. So they just tear through these buildings. But it does look like Joe's being pretty cautious here. not going for the attack on the palace or anything here, but instead trying to pick off these other units. And Hells is just like, he's actually struggling to produce units for some reason. Is he? That's why he's producing too many of these llama caravans, which means all of that food from the llama caravans, 100 food a llama caravan, has been getting put into llama caravans instead of into army here. And we still don't have heavy military yet for Hells, or Joe's finally got heavy chariots. You can see as soon as the Egyptian player starts getting those upgrades, it's like, oh damn, he's stabilized, he's got economy for days. There's not a lot you can do to stop that. We're seeing more buildings getting thrown up for Joe. And Hells has got control over most of the map here, but it's just going to be too much for him to hang on to once these units start pumping through. And Joe can even start buying some food if he wants in order to get these these champion upgrades, because it's so many resources in the bank. And seeing this, look at this one heavy axeman taking down this watchtower like a beast. And now we're seeing Hells move into this location again, trying to cut off this trade route. I'm not sure you can Alt-S your camel caravan, so it may be even worth to just micro these guys in order to force all of these camel caravans to go idle. Could be a vibe, but who knows. Yeah, seeing that the mercenary cavalry are coming out here, and walls are trying to come up as well. We've got heavy destroyers coming through. Another citizen moving forward to build a palace in this location. Not sure about that one. Probably won't get up, but we're going to try. I got this catapult here, which is sieging away at the palace here. And all of these units are trying to push Joe off this gold mine. And it's just like, it's kind of at that point where it's like, can Hells finish this game, or is Joe just going to be able to sit here forever? And which is the big issue with Atlantean, is Atlantean's late game. It's very difficult for Atlantean to push against Egyptian and against Greek, maybe even against Norse, because Norse can build all over the map, and it's really hard for them to compete with that. But we do see that the palace has been stopped here. Hells not being able to get that one up, but all the units now sitting on this gold mine here can start pushing in on this location, maybe get some palace in over here, and this would be an interesting place to attack, but not sure about moving this army in here. He's going to be able to pick off a bunch of these villages, but all of these chariot archers are going to do so much damage. We are seeing more walls coming up for Joe now. Palace falling down, and finally Joe's starting to make a little bit of progress over here, but it's slow days at this point. Joe does have the resources to get engineers, which is such an important upgrade for the catapult. Makes them do so much damage. We're seeing Migdol Stronghold coming up now for Joe. Going to be trying to push into this location and get this gold mine. 3,000 more gold for him, but does look like heavy champion and Arcus are coming through now for HellsRavage. Palace coming up on this location here. We're going to make a slow push in with Palace, as it looks like, and we are seeing Migdol Stronghold probably not going to get up. There seems like there may be too many units here, especially when you're attacking the foundation. Doesn't have 95 PS armor when it's a foundation, has 0%. So every time this Arcus hits it, it does 9 damage. But there are a lot of villages on it, so it does look like he is going to be able to get that Migdol Stronghold up and then just repair it. It's going to be in a decent position there. Migdol Stronghold is up. Need to retreat at this point. Potentially get some of that siege action happening. Joe's sitting at 160 population. He's got the armory upgrades. It should be starting to flow in right now. He's got, yep, here we go. Copper weapons is coming through. And we are seeing Palace is getting taken down as well. That's pretty brutal as well. And all of this location looks like it's getting sorted out. Walls are up as well, which means that this trade route is going to be fairly well protected. This location here is a little bit of an iffy one, which potentially Hells could push through. If he could get in onto it, then that would be difficult for Joe to maintain that camel caravan route, the trade route. But we'll see if that happens or not. We are seeing palaces moving forward now for Hells. These are catapult trying to stay alive. 1 HP catapult there. Does manage to get picked off there by the champion Arcus, as he's trying to rotate these catapult over here and maybe pick off these palace or something. We're seeing more Migdol Strongholds coming in now for Joe, and Joe is feeling good, I reckon. He's feeling good about this. He's able to produce some more of these champion chariots. Still doesn't have the resources to get champion axemen, which is always sad. You really want to see a champion axeman when you can. It does pick off the mining camp there, which is a little bit of an issue, but should be okay. Does Hells have? He does have masons. Doesn't have architects. But Hells is finally starting to sit like float a little bit of food here. So he's going to be able to produce these units like no man, and he does have champion upgrades now on these Murmillo. Does have heroic age armor upgrades as well. So his units are starting to look scary, but so are Joe's as more of these military barracks are falling. Joe not able to get engineers yet, still hasn't even thought about it, looks like. Still producing more and more of these catapult, trying to do all of that action there. But at this point, it's just hard. It's just hard for Hells. You just look at this and you're like, what can Hells do? What actually can Hells do apart from, I don't know. What's he sitting at? He's sitting at 130, 140 population. So potentially having more military buildings would mean he could get more units out, which means he could fight faster and better and stronger and all that good stuff. But I feel like he just doesn't have the economy to support this kind of spam. We're also seeing catapults coming out. That's sad. You don't want to see that at all. You can see the damage they do. Absolutely nothing to those axemen who actually shred through the catapults. Seeing the axemen, he's just seeing all these catapults just doing so much work, whereas the fire savage just chilling here trying to take down this Migdol stronghold, and he's attacking it, but it's just not doing that much. And then villagers jump onto it and they just get taken out like they're nothing. And you can check out Hells' Fog of War as well. You can just see he went from like having this entire map scouted out to having less of it out, and this is just the comeback of the century, really. Joe managing to hang on. And at this point, you have to think about what Joe needs to do to win is pretty much just moving on to this trade route. But I assume Joe's got no idea it's there. Yeah, he would even think there's trees still here. Maybe think there's trees here. Not sure. There are trees there. Never mind. I'm going crazy, hallucinating or something. Alrighty, catapult, try and take down the palace. Going to be losing that guy fairly quickly though. In a pretty rough position. More palace are coming down in this corner here. Hell's trying to push through. Can get out some of those destroyers. Secrets of the Titans coming through for Joe, just to add insult to injury. It is a bit of a trump card at this point. You can't really counter it as Atlantean because you have to spend so many resources on these units. But maybe Hells has something up his sleeve and he can run through and just kill it off really fast. So we'll see if that's what happens there. Titan is coming through. Where's he going to produce the Titan gate? Right in the back of the base, right next to all these villages. And if you check out Joe's wood count there, 3,000 wood in the bank there. So Hells is going to have to deal with the Titan plus so many resources in the bank. It's going to be really difficult for Hells to take down this army and push through onto that Titan gate. But it is still a ways away getting this Titan up. We are seeing the palaces here, but catapult's already up and attacking. Hells is trying to build out destroyers, but he's sitting at 160 of 160 population, so he can't get anything out there to pick off this wall and then pick off the catapult and keep this guy up here. More military barracks are coming down. But it does look like the units are sitting here fairly decently for Joe. Joe's sitting still at 160 population, and at this point, it's just a spam war, and it's going to be really hard for either one of them to push through until the Titan comes through, and then Joe's just going to be able to just end it. Really difficult. I've got nothing. I don't know what I have no idea what Hells should do at this point. Yeah, lost for words. But Joe, on the other hand, manages to just hold on. It's just like, that's the secret for Egyptian players against Atlantean. You just hold on forever and then come back and win. See more of these units pumping out again. Catapults, awful unit to be building. You don't want to build it because it just doesn't do. Maybe it does more damage against the siege weapons or something. Is that why we're seeing the catapult? I don't know. I do not know. They do have 100% bonus, 150% bonus against siege, whereas nothing else does. So they are good against siege weapons. So I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. Titan Kate is going up so fast right now. I've got 30 plus villagers building it here. We've got idle villagers as well. Joe's just not caring at all. He's just like, yep, this is me, and that's it. Still cannot believe that Joe has not got champion axeman. It's like 41 minutes into the game, no champion axeman. Just spamming so many units here. He's got mercenary cavalry on auto queue. Absolutely brutal. And here we go. Hells decides to tap out before the Titan comes out. Knows that there's nothing he can do to defend against that one. And it is GG 1-0 for Joe in this best of 3 series between these two Titans players. Well played there by Joe. I did like the semi-fast mythic to combat the semi-fast Titan of Hells. That being said though, it definitely doesn't work if Hells goes Thea and uses the Hesperid's tree to protect his Titan gate. He's getting that Titan out. It's going to be hard for Joe to defend against the Titan plus the army of Hells. But luckily for him, managed to pick off that Titan gate with the access of the Avenger running into the base, getting that guy down. And then unfortunately, Hells just could not cut off the trade route. Even though the fight was all happening here, he just could not pick off all these camel caravans. Potentially there were moments where if Hells had just committed to just this location here, he could have held and he could have made it really hard for Joe to keep getting gold income because he wouldn't have any camel caravans. But unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. If you enjoyed this game, please rate, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to see my videos as soon as they come out. My name's Boit, and I will see you guys next time.